Hi, I'm Ambar, and this is Ambar in real life. This podcast is my space to share the journey of becoming. Through honest reflections, personal stories, and conversations with people in my life who have shaped who I am. From health and self worth to love, career, and everything in between, I'm here to speak what's true and sometimes comment on some of my posts that I've written on my blog, Ambar Virtual. If you are on your own path of growth and craving real connection, welcome. You are not alone. Hi, and welcome back to Ambar in real life. This is my personal audio journal where I share the messy, beautiful, and transformative process of becoming braver, healthier, and a little more myself. Today, I want to talk about something that's been also in my mind a lot lately, and that's about the promises that we make to ourselves and how often we break them. You know what I mean? Those little commitments like I'll get up earlier tomorrow, or I'll finally start journaling, or I'm going to take better care of myself this week. They feel small in the moment that we make them, but when we don't follow through, something inside of us takes note. And over time, those broken promises start to mess with our self esteem, with our sense of inner warmth, and with our belief that we can actually count on ourselves. And the thing is that when we can't trust ourselves, everything else starts to feel shaky too. Our relationships, our goals, even the way that we look at ourselves in the mirror. You probably know what I'm referring to. But here's the good news that I want to share with you today. The same way that breaking promises erodes trust, keeping even the smallest commitments begins to rebuild it. It's like telling yourself, hey, I matter, my words matter, I can rely on myself. So, in this episode, we're going to explore why this habit is so destructive, why it's so common, and most importantly, how we can begin breaking free from it. Not in a harsh or judgmental way, but in a way that feels compassionate, empowering, and realistic. So let's get into it. Here's the thing about breaking promises to ourselves. They seem so small in the moment, but they leave a deeper mark than we realize. Just think about it. If someone in your life constantly promised you things and never follow through, how would you feel about them over time? Probably frustrated, maybe even hurt, and eventually just stop trusting them, right? Now, imagine what happens when you are the one breaking the promises and the person you're betraying is yourself. That's exactly what happens when we don't follow through on the commitments that we make to ourselves. It's not really about the undone work or the unfinished journal entry or the bedtime you ignore. It's about what those moments whisper into our minds. I can't even count on myself. How many of you have heard this voice before? How many of you have told yourself that same thing? And the thing is that that feeling slowly erodes our self esteem. It creates this subtle distance between who we want to be and how we actually show up. And over time, it steals that inner warmth, that confidence that comes from knowing that you can keep your word. So, keeping promises to ourselves builds an invisible but strong backbone, and that is self respect and integrity. Now, I know that keeping promises to ourselves is hard for some people because if it weren't, we'll all be masters at it, let's be real. And sometimes we can break our promises because we overcommit. We say yes to too many things, and then, of course, we burn out. Other times, it's perfectionism. Yeah, that's like the category I always find myself in because we set these huge, unrealistic expectations. And when we can meet them, we just give up entirely. And there's also fear of failing, fear of not being good enough, fear of facing what might change if we actually do the thing that we said we'd do. And obviously, let's not forget how often we put other people before ourselves.
We keep promises to our friends, to our jobs, to our families, but when it comes to ourselves, we treat those commitments as optional. And I want to say this very clearly. Breaking promises to yourself doesn't mean that you're lazy or that you're broken. It means that you're human. It means that you have probably stretched thin, or that you are afraid, or maybe not fully connected to why that promise mattered in the first place. So instead of shaming ourselves, maybe the better question is, why am I breaking this promise? What's the feeling behind that is not allowing me to fulfill the promises that I made to myself? Right now, I want you to take a bit of time, and as you're listening, maybe think of one promise that you have struggled to keep recently. Like, what was going on for you? Was it too big of a commitment? Was it too vague, maybe? Did it come from pressure rather than genuine desire of doing it? Give yourself a few minutes to think this through, and I'll put all of these questions in the description below so you can come back to them whenever you need them. Now, here's the hopeful part that I want to share with you. Rebuilding trust with yourself doesn't take huge, dramatic action. It takes a small, consistent follow through. Think of it like this. If a friend had been letting you down for years, it wouldn't take one grand gesture to win you back, would it? It will take lots of little actions repeated over time that slowly rebuild your trust. That same thing is true with yourself. So, how do we start? Number one, start small. Instead of promising yourself that you'll completely change your routine overnight, just start with one thing and stick to it. 10 minutes of movement a day, one page in your journal, drinking a glass of water when you wake up. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is keeping it, maintaining that new habit. Number two, make it visible. Write it down in a note, paste it on your mirror, your computer screen. You can say it out loud several times during the day. Set a reminder on your phone, whatever works for you. Because when you track your commitments, you give them weight and you actually feel this need to complete that, to continue doing that. Number three, celebrate it. Don't brush it off as nothing just because it's small. All little small steps that we take, they all count. Every kept promise deserves recognition. That's how you tell yourself, see, I can be trusted. Number four, reset when needed. We are all humans, and I will say this in every single one of my videos. We all make mistakes. We all fall off. You will sleep. We all do. We all fail time and time again. But instead of spiraling into shame and believing all of these crazy thoughts that you are not worth it or you're useless or whatever, just simply recommit again to your goal. Just say, okay, I fell off. I recognize that, but I can begin again today. Don't let it off for tomorrow unless it's something like very late at night, you're just going to sleep. But other than that, you can try to recommit to follow through with yourself the same day. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. The real goal is progress. And progress is made with consistent effort. If you really want to rebuild this relationship with yourself, you have to commit to do something over and over again, every single day. Now, I believe that the heart of all of this is the idea of reliability. We often think that reliability is something that we owe to other people. And yes, that's partly true, but it really has to start with ourselves for it to ripple toward the people around us more easily. Because here's the thing, if you can rely on yourself to do the thing, it's really hard to expect others to rely on you, because reliability is built inside first and then it radiates outward. When you start keeping promises to yourself, you feel steadier, you're more grounded, and people feel that, and that spills into every area of your life, your relationships, your health, your work, your creativity. So being a reliable adult doesn't mean being perfect. Remember, we're not striving for perfection here. So let me say that again. Being a reliable adult doesn't mean being perfect. It means being honest, consistent, and responsible with your own words. It means treating yourself with the same respect you want from others. And that, to me, that's one of the most beautiful forms of growth that we can all experience as human beings. So as we wrap up today's reflection, I want to bring us back to something simple but powerful. Every promise that you keep to yourself is an act of self-love. It doesn't have to be dramatic or life-changing at the beginning. It can be choosing to go for a short walk after dinner, drinking enough water during the day, finishing the chapter you promised that you will read, or showing up for the mastermind or class of the skill you said you wanted to develop. Because each time that you do that and follow through with what you said you were going to do, you're sending yourself a message. I can count on me. And over time, that message becomes your reality. That's how self-respect is built. That's how self-trust grows. You won't see successful people not keeping their promises. That's just not going to happen because they know the importance of relying on yourself to keep your word. So if you take just one thing away from this conversation, I really hope that is this. You are worth keeping promises to. So here's my challenge for you this week. Choose one small, specific, meaningful commitment to yourself. Not 5, not 10, just one. Write it down, honor it, and notice how it feels to follow through. Because becoming the kind of adult who can be relied on by others, yes, but first by yourself, begins here with tiny acts of self-accountability that build into something so much bigger and greater. So thank you as always for listening and for walking this path of becoming alongside me. If today's reflection resonated with you, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments or share your own small commitment for the week with me. And until next time, please take care of your mind, please take care of your body, and please take care of your heart. Bye.